In any martial arts system, building a strong foundation is key. There are many factors involved in becoming proficient in Muay Boran, just like any martial arts system. That includes working on foundation, fundamentals, spending years training. You got to put in the work. Then you can add all those techniques in conjunction with all the basics, all the transitions, and the higher level concepts that will go right after. They will just all blend in terms of proficiency and mastery. That's really what we were working towards in terms of teaching our students Muay Boran, is getting them ready by building the strong foundation for them. And once they got the foundation, then we can really get into these techniques, work in all the different ways, the trial and error, the feedback that we give them, working in real time, drilling properly, just the lesson plans that we have set out for them so that they can really apply these techniques in different ways. And also, again, making sure that their basics are solid. And that works with Muay Thai as well, not just Muay Boran. One thing to understand, that all the movements that we use in shadow boxing are not wasted movements. We don't do movements just for the sake of doing them or throwing movements that are acrobatic and flashy and so on. So stance and footwork are the essentials that are needed to just get you started with developing a very strong base in Muay Boran. And you don't really need to know all the different stances and footwork. You just start off with one. From there, because it takes a few months to get accustomed to it. And once you start gaining some proficiency, you can start adding these different stances and footwork into your flow, whether it's shadow boxing or doing other drills, and then eventually adding your basic weapons, your basic defenses, and everything else that will come as you work upwards with your Muay Boran skill set. But if you're blocking for streak, then you have to be more meticulous. You have to really cover up really well, cover everything so that a punch won't go through. Defensive skills such as blocking are skill sets that need to be practiced on a consistent basis. And these are oftentimes neglected in other styles such as Muay Thai, which focuses more on attacking. But in Muay Boran, we do a lot of self-defense moves, and so we need to know how to protect ourselves properly, learn how to cover up. And working on these angles, it takes time. It needs to be practiced consistently, not just in terms of proper form, but also in terms of getting the reaction, getting that conditioned response going, and so that when we block, it will just come out automatically without having to think about it. Because you can do a few different things when you lift your knee, as I've shown you guys before. You could lift your knee to throw another knee, you could lift your knee to throw a round kick. In this particular instance, you lift your knee to throw your jab, or the piercing jab, if you will. Footwork and strikes are also essentials that we work on to further develop our Muay Boran base. We start off obviously with basic footwork, then we add all the other ones that we have, like the triangle footwork, X footwork, side to side, and so on. We start adding the basic strikes with our footwork to further develop proficiency, and then we do it with different drills, different exercises. Then eventually we work on it with sparring and everything else that is part of the Muay Boran curriculum. And these are just examples of what we do to develop that strong foundation, that strong base. Obviously, stance is important, footwork is important, basic blocking, basic defenses, and then having that ability to start adding things slowly, whether it's with your footwork and your striking, footwork and your blocking, and everything else that you need to do to sort of have a very strong foundation. All the things that are typically being taken for granted in just a typical Muay Thai training, where everything is about attacking and just working techniques and
not spending enough time or not even having a curriculum where you teach foundational footwork, defense, and transitions and so on. The things that I've learned from my sources, I pass it on to my students, from really working on strong foundations of stance, footwork, defensive moves, and so on. And the thing about Muay Boran, it's a very complex system compared to Muay Thai, because you're not just learning stand-up, but you're also learning how to roll, how to crush, how to grab, and how to break someone. So these skills are things that take time to learn, because before even getting to that point, you have to spend a long time learning how to really defend yourself, cover up, protect yourself, cover defense, or defend and attack at the same time, and understanding Muay Boran in terms of how they can defend themselves and be better martial artists.